Okay, the first item is discussion and consideration of the tree foundation. Any comments?
I need to apologize. I didn't realize that was on there. I was thinking that the tree activity, city activities was what I had to bring stuff for, but I'll tell you this, I do have some flyers that the Tree Foundation sent me, and I also have the receipt of your donation that was sent to them. And I have both of those items.
Okay.
So is that the Tree Foundation?
That's the one that gives us trees.
Right, and is it a private entity?
It's a 501(c)(3).
Only for Oklahoma or for this region or?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that. I just know that they give trees that are that grow in this area.
Right. And that is specifically what it's called, the Tree
Foundation, yes.
Okay. And
it used to be connected with the Apache Tree Foundation, but they've taken that away now.
Okay.
And so I don't know if they've consolidated, I don't know.
Or if that was just a sponsor.
Right, but I can call Nikki, her name is Nikki Largent, I believe. I have that information, and find out anything you want me to, or try to find out.
Well, I was just thinking that it would be a good time to, as a board, write them a letter and to be looking for fall trees.
Yes.
And if we did write them a letter, just, to see if there's anything that we can do, that we are an active forestry board, and if there's anything that we can do to, kind of be...
ensure that we get some trees.
Right, that we would be someplace closer to being one of the recipients, or at least we would know where we stood, and there may be other tree foundations that they're aware of that do the same thing. And it seemed to have a lot of appeal to a lot of residents when they could, and we almost were overly blessed with them at first, that now it's been quite a while without any.
Right.
So.
I will also give her a call and tell her that.
So if they could just email that to us, or just
give them your email address. Well, yours is not working.
Not yet. We're getting closer.
Okay, good.
Well, that way we could just
Okay.
whatever information on that, so we could
Okay.
be a little more active in trying to put ourselves in a better position with them.
I think that is a good idea, because we need to get back in the amount.
And that was part of the reason for trying to get a donation to them.
Yes.
And I added some to it so that it was worthwhile.
Right.
And so I will do that for you.
Okay.
So with that being said, there's really not any reason to vote on this.
Right. Just if Shelby will forward that information to us.
I'll get that for her. And will you write the letter, since you're the chairman?
I will try.
Already.
What address?
I'll have to get you that information
Okay.
too.
Do they have a website or anything?
I
You're aware of?
believe they do. Like I said, I've got the flyers and some other information.
Okay.
So
I'll do
get
the
that.
letter.
I don't think any of that's in here. Now this is just on the.
That's over what the state is.
Yes, this is the Tree City stuff.
Okay, I will get that address there and get the letter sent.
Okay. And I'll get you that address.
Now, our third discussion is discussion and consideration of the Tree City activities and application for 2016. That's basically about what we've been talking about. in it.
Right, and I will need any pictures of all the activities that we've done for Arbor Day, like the St. Mary's and for the Fogarty. I think we did some.
Well, we did do some
yeah.
activity.
Go ahead.
Well, they had scheduled quite a bit of things, Fogarty had already, but we as a board received a donation, and it was anonymous, of trees. And so we donated 2 trees to the school at the day that they were doing all of this activity. So they had people from OSU Extension, etc. there. And I just made, I actually got to pick where they were going to be planted, and they're planted on the west side.
Did that get to the paper, I hope?
Yeah,
Yes.
they
Oh,
took
good.
a
So
picture.
I'll need that.
And they had in there that the Forestry Board
Yeah.
had donated these trees.
Yes. you can-
Okay, so if you could get a copy of that,
Okay, of that picture.
of the
that.
picture,
Yeah.
and
It's not a, well, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
picture, and
yeah.
the write-up was at the bottom.
yes.
Yeah, and then I just made sure that they were mulched in and everything,
Mhm.
that they had, one of them I dug back up and straightened it up, but, but I did it that same day, and I checked them out this morning, they're doing well. So,
Good.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so that was at Fogarty, okay?
Okay.
And then at St. Mary's, we replaced a tree that they had dedicated back in 1995 for the children that lost their life in the Murrah bombing. And so they had dedicated a tree then, had a plaque, and initially had planted a redbud tree. And the redbud tree died, and it almost aged out, and with a lot of traffic and that, with the kids and stuff. And then I actually had replaced that tree before, but whoever did the lawns or that had kind of damaged it. So we replaced that tree this year.
Okay.
And then Roberta and I collected all the posters from the 2nd and 3rd grade, and they had categorized them into 5 different categories, and we had them hung up in what is now the Guthrie News Leader's new office, where formerly the chamber was. So they were hung up through 89ers and everything, and when the news leader moved in, they were abruptly taken down. and not, if they would
Did
have
you have any pictures of them hanging on the
well,
wall?
that's, I don't think we do.
Do you think Mike does?
I don't
No,
know.
I don't, of course, Mike doesn't work there
No,
anymore,
no,
so
yeah, I know, but he might.
I wouldn't mind asking.
Okay.
I'll go down and
Okay.
see.
We were kind of taken aback because they didn't ask, and
Uh-huh.
we were given permission to put them there. And then,
They just ripped them down, and there was 3.
Did they throw them away, or did they?
They just threw them down with all the scotch tape and everything, and I went down and picked them up and got it off, and there were 3 posters that had corners ripped off,
Oh.
and I tried to put them on as best I could again, and then I took them back over to St. Mary's because I knew school was coming to an end, and I wanted them to have them, so I just took them back over there.
well,
And
they had done a beautiful job, and they were up for about 2.5 weeks.
I think maybe a week and a half.
Okay,
maybe, probably
through
close.
89ers and everything, when there's a lot of sidewalk traffic, so that part was
And I did
good.
hear from several people how nice that looked. And
Yeah.
I thought that was really good that somebody took time to look.
Yeah,
Well, it may be that some of the parents maybe took a picture of them,
yeah.
It's possible. It
so
sure
that
is.
might could. But anyway, whatever we can get,
Yeah,
and what I'd like to do, I'd like to get started on this so that we've got until the end of the year, but
Sure.
It's nice to have.
Well,
nice
iron's
to-
hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they did a very good, the categories we had chosen earlier, and it was favorite tree, magical tree.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's see,
I've got it with me, I
the
think.
largest tree, I think.
Well, you might,
Flowering, biggest
you could write me up a little,
thing about it,
Mhm.
what we.
what you, how you
Yes,
feel.
I have it here,
That'd be good. Just write me up a little
And this was-
paragraph on.
second and third
Yeah.
grade, and I thought they all were really nice.
Oh, they all just, yeah, really.
And I think we talked about it and kind of thought maybe next year we do 4 and 5 grades and have them to make posters. But I think we probably should have a different time because I think the OSU extension is going to take over Earth Day.
Oh, okay.
And that's what that was, Earth Day, when
Yeah.
they were,
And
yeah.
so I'd say maybe we should maybe think of the top of April or something.
Or even the end of March. or-
Yeah,
Yeah,
and get
okay.
it done at that time and
Okay.
have it, maybe we have a little bit of time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Sounds good. Sounds good.
okay,
I don't know that you even need to,
do 4. Or we
I don't even think you need to,
Number 5.
vote on number 3. I think
Yeah.
that's just something she put it in there just in case there was something there that we needed to vote on.
Okay. Is
Four.
there any other information on this or questions about this?
Well, is one other thing that hasn't taken place yet. Okay, so we have, Verdell and I went up to Favor School and spoke with them because one of the clubs had wanted to plant a tree in honor of Verdell.
Yes.
And so we have the tree, it's a live oak, and we spoke with the principal there and everything and selected a location. And then, because we have the donation of these other trees, we talked about planting some other trees there at Favor as well.
Good.
And so that is an activity that if Verdell was here tonight, I was gonna see if we might do that this weekend, actually.
Well, this is Memorial Day
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
I can have him call you.
I'm sure
He
he's
was-
swamped
he
with
is
the cemetery and everything.
Absolutely swamped, and I
Yeah.
told him tonight, I says, you covered for me at the park board last week,
Yeah.
and I'll cover for you
Yeah.
tonight.
I'll just try and talk with him this weekend because if maybe it just for us to look again at the spots. We had marked them and with the principal's permission and everything, and it was all, so that would also be one other thing that would be in, at
If
least.
you'll let me know, I'll
Yes,
come
and
and
that-
Yes.
be
it-
there.
Okay, good,
So
good.
I can do that.
And if you'll let us know when too, if it's next week,
Yeah,
I can have Annette come take pictures or.
Sure.
Yeah, that would be
and that
good.
could be, okay,
That would be a nice.
yeah. So we'll plan on doing it
Okay.
next week, and what I might actually do is dig the holes and have it prepared so that it can just be kind of
Go in right
yeah,
away.
yeah. And I kind of like the fact that school's out before we planted them, just because of, something new that might attract a little bit of undue attention before it
Yes.
gets established a little bit, so.
How's that gonna be watered throughout the summer?
Well, he said, we talked about that, about kind of setting up a schedule and
Oh,
just,
good.
Yeah, he
'Cause-
might even could put those bags around them.
Yeah.
We did that with the trees out here last year
uh-huh.
when we were short-handed, and it helped
Yeah.
tremendously. Don't
Yeah.
those Princeton elms look good?
They do look good, they really do.
Okay, our next item is discussion and consideration of inventorying the oldest and/or at-risk trees in the city. And the staff was unable to locate information about the proposal and grant that took place back in 98 or 1999?
Couldn't find anything. I looked, I know it happened because I was involved in it. It was a proposal that Melody Kellogg and I worked on. And
Well, I think, didn't they have someone out of Oklahoma City that helped too?
I don't even remember.
Seemed like that's what
Because
Betsy said, that they
Very
went
well
out.
could have.
Uh-huh.
They very well could have. I did most of just doing the paperwork and proposal.
Right.
Somebody else handled that other part of it. And I thought maybe I could find something in the old bid files, but that's been almost 20 years ago, so
Yes, It has.
it's,
Well, you know, has the city ever discussed actually having an arborist on staff? Well, and or in an advisory role.
you're my arborist.
Yeah.
You're my advisory role.
Well, yeah, well, here's where I'm going with that. When you think about Guthrie as a tourist city, and we think of how important that is to the downtown part of our city, and yet, you know better than I, but if this is the street and this is the sidewalk and here's our home, this piece of property that's between the sidewalk and the street,
It's the
technically,
homeowner's responsibility.
but it's technically city property
But it's
as
the
well.
homeowner's responsibility.
No, I understand that.
They take it from the middle of the street to the middle of the alley.
Yeah, and I understand that. All I'm thinking of is the aesthetics for the city, when you see trees that are misshapen and broken, that's in that corridor, if you will, that if there was actually,
Well, put it this way. Blue has learned a lot over
Uh-huh.
the years. He has gone to schools, he understands. He's not technically an arborist, but he knows how to trim a tree. And he has, if you'll take a look at those lace bark elm down there in that parking lot, he taught Michael LeGrand how to trim them, and he did an excellent job. I looked at them just yesterday, and they look really nice. As far as the rest of the city,
it's a big job.
you're talking a massive job.
Right.
We don't have the people or the skills to worry about that. I would love to, hey, yeah, it would be wonderful. Just like the people that helped us in the park last year.
No, it would be,
Yes.
that's, and I'm sure every city wishes that some, well, just like Daryl and the people that he was able to coordinate that came last year for us, that every city would just covets having an opportunity like that to have skilled people donate their time and equipment. You wonder with Guthrie's standing as a historical city and that if we could, whether through one of the universities, any programs like that, to a little bit more maybe have that happen more often.
I think we have called on the university. Stillwater's helped us a couple of times, I know of. I don't know, I don't know how you go about. I'm sure that we can find out.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to find out how to do that.
Yeah, if there was an arborist school somewhere in the state of Oklahoma, we would say, hey, here's
we're always open to any training we can get, preferably the free versions.
Right.
But I know that, like I said, Blue has been to a lot. He's very knowledgeable, and he teaches his people the correct way of doing things. And we don't have the time or the
well,
resources.
it's a mammoth amount of property that
Yes,
our
it is.
Parks Department does cover.
And I must say, 3 years ago when OG&E came through and did a tremendous amount of trimming, and Jared
Yeah.
Casada was,
Yeah.
he was very helpful, and he put on several classes, but then he just got too busy and
Yeah.
couldn't do any more.
So
So
we didn't even see him at the.
this last time he wasn't there.
No,
It's too
I kind
bad.
of looked around, for him. I was wondering on this inventory, would Mark Bay have a copy?
I have
I
no
think he
idea.
came up here and
He probably did, and that was probably the first time I ever met him. But I don't know. I could ask. I'll
Yeah.
give him a.
give him a call or
I'll
send him
an email and see
Yeah.
what he has.
because I know he and Betsy, she talked about it, how they went out to different things, and so maybe we might get a little bit of a start on it.
Okay, I'll see what I can find out there. And I will get that back to you all for the next meeting.
Okay.
So-
Any further discussion?
Well, what's not on here, I guess, is we received a mention of the trees to, near the rodeo grounds.
That's not on there, and partly because I was laid up 2 days.
Yeah.
But do you
But
want to discuss that?
I want to discuss it under staff reports.
Okay.
Okay. I'll let him look at it. Okay, our next item is discussion of the activities held for Arbor Day 2016. And I think we've
already done
pretty
that.
much covered that. Okay, our next item is staff report. Anyone?
And here again, I was called about the Logan County
Fair Board.
Fair Board want 3 of those trees cut down. And of course, I balked immediately because it's too close to our raw water line, and I wanted to make sure that there was nothing there that could hurt the water line. I was under the impression that they were dead trees. When I went out there and met with them, they're far from being dead. There's a few limbs that could be taken care of and taken down, but the trees themselves are not dead. I didn't want to take it upon myself to allow them to do that. And when I visited with Bruce, he said to bring it to the Forestry Board. So,
Do they feel it's a root issue, or is it they just don't
No,
want them out there?
they don't want them out there. They said that people park under them and the branches fall on their,
Are they the ones parking it?
I don't know who's parking out there.
I've never
but,
had trouble with it.
I would think you would want the shade
Yeah, yeah.
because, it provides some shade and they're great big trees. Did you go look at them?
Yeah, and I've looked at them before, and I just drove by this afternoon to double check right before the meeting. I
I'm
mean,
gonna look at it
yeah.
with you real quick.
Who owns,
The city owns that property.
so they own
It's ours
the rodeo grounds
and
as
it's
well?
our road.
Um,
They're wanting us to give them the road and let them take the trees
Yeah.
down.
and they being the people
The
that.
fair board. I
The
mean,
Fair Board.
they had, I met with, what's his name?
Dennis House?
Younger, no,
Oh.
Kennard Younger.
Younger.
He's the maintenance
Okay,
man there who does the whole work. But they had some people there that was cutting for free.
yeah.
And
They've pushed a couple trees over down there, it looks like, that
but
they
it's
just
probably
left.
not on our property.
Yeah, I think it's the 3.
No, I know the 3 cottonwoods there.
That's the ones we really
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about,
Well, if they would have cut them for free, seems like they would have trimmed them up for free.
That's kind of what I thought, and that's what I asked. I said, looks to me like just those branches
Yeah.
need to come off. I said, I'm not going to give you,
Yeah, that's the insurance liability is what's
Yeah.
the dead wood, but if the tree's not dead, they could have just trimmed it
No,
up.
they look really healthy, really.
They
just
do.
And so maybe what we could do is I could actually get from two different arborists, get an estimate on taking the dead out,
Okay,
and then just getting their opinion of the health of the tree.
okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
That would
and
be great.
So I'll do that, and then as soon as I get that, I'll get that to everybody, and so
Okay.
you'll have it, within
Yeah,
a couple weeks.
that's the main thing, I was wanting some
Yeah.
information.
So I would just say that we've advised against it. Does everybody agree with that?
I
I agree with that.
Because, any time in a facility like that, the trees add ambience
They do.
to it.
And in the summertime, it's nice to kind of park under it.
Yeah,
I used to do that. quite a
Yeah.
bit.
so,
Why are they parking under it? Because of the shade?
sure.
And now
Well-
they're griping about the limbs falling down. There's something here I'm missing, I'm sure.
I'm sure I was too, but I just,
I think somebody just wants to clear it off. That's
Well,
what.
it seems like if that's the case, now this is just old me talking, but if they're worried about 3 trees, they should worry about mowing a little bit more often. If they're talking aesthetics or if there's issues or problems out around that area.
right.
I'm surprised the city hadn't ever said anything about that.
Well, we mow up so far, and I think that this group has just now taken over.
Oh, is that what it
The
is?
rodeo grounds.
The rodeo
Oh, okay.
grounds. They've just now done this, so I'm sure that there's gonna be some
Improvements or,
great,
yeah.
great,
They're good for them.
yeah, so.
They
That is
kind of
good.
cleaned it up.
Yeah, it has, it
Yeah.
looks a lot better than
Yeah.
it did. So,
I think that we can say that we're 3.
well, good.
And we're gonna, get an expert opinion, if you
Yes.
will, to just from professional, and they won't have any reason to side one way
Right,
over another.
absolutely.
Because, and in your note there, it says that the city water lines run quite close
Very close,
to
very
that.
close. And that was that was
Kind
one
of
thing.
alarming,
And it's a large water line, it's a 24-foot
okay.
diameter water line. We're talking big.
Well,
So,
that's what I was thinking. Maybe they were concerned that it was growing into the line. but-
no, those trees, the age of those trees, they'd be way down below the line. But if you disturb that,
Yeah. It's-
that might,
Could make a movement where now the mud or the ground is solid
Yeah.
to it.
yeah, I don't, so anyway, sometimes you just need to leave well enough alone.
Yeah.
Besides, those trees are good.
Yeah,
good
trees are us.
Yes.
Okay, any other staff reports?
And that's all I had. And I guess we'll just wait to hear from you all on things for the next agenda. If you think of anything that you all want to put on, please let us know so we'll.
Well, we'll do a little bit of more research for the tree foundation, and then
Yes, I'll do that.
And I get a Edmund water bill also, and I noticed for their Arbor Day, they sort of had almost a, what would be the, but they gave a few trees out as, like an award.
Awards, yes, that's good.
Instead of just anybody, it was kind of, you made an application for them, and even if it was, so that's a thought,
Yeah,
especially if we have a
all those
limited
kind of
number of
ideas,
trees,
right.
if it's,
Well, I think we also need to have a donation bucket there.
yeah,
And have, because I think that it's not that much that they have to give, but it will
Every-
help them and
The
our
tree
folks.
right, and we could use all of those donations back to the tree foundation and kind of
Right.
perpetuate.
Right, and I think they will be more wanting to help if
Sure.
they're getting some money.
Sure.
That's
You know,
it.
And, you know, even if you all want to contribute $5, that goes up, you know, and that helps, so.
It does.
Right.
It lets them know that we're interested and we're ready to put some money in on it.
Good.
And I think too that our next meeting, we ought to do some planning instead of kind of doing the last minute
Mhm.
thing.
Well, we've had such a fluctuation of members, you know, Roberta and I have been on the board for quite a while,
Right.
but other than that, it's been,
Right,
Very
and we'll have one coming up, I'll bring that up, 10 Poindexter's finished this month, in June. We'll get a new, okay. Next meeting, we'll do planning.
so with you know, I had somebody that asked me about, but he's on another board. How does the city do that? Do they try to keep one board per
They
volunteer?
did, I don't know how this city manager feels about
Okay.
that. What board's he on?
It's Zach Calario.
Oh, he's my park board
Yeah.
president.
Okay, yes,
You
he
can't
just,
have him then.
No,
okay, he just asked.
Listen, I've got a good park board, I got a good forestry board, and I love it. It's the first time I've had a good cohesive ride in a while. It's good.
Is there a adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Yeah, second that.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded that we adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.